The temporary rent cap implemented in New Brunswick is coming to an end on December 31st. Landlords can increase the rent by more than 3.8% if the rent cap is not made permanent. It is making stakeholders anxious about tenants' access to affordable housing.
Yeah, so we want to put the pressure on the government, on Higgs and his government, to make the rent cap, what was made temporary for this year, permanent. Because as you know, at the end of this year it will be lifted, and this will leave too many vulnerable families in difficult situations, especially over the weekend, over the winter. So we are asking for a permanent rent cap of 2%, and we are asking for a ban on rent evictions completely. And we are asking for a complete review of the RTA because it just needs doing. There needs to be a more balance between landlords and tenants. So this is really important what we're asking, and we're also asking for a rental registry where people or the landlords are mandatory, have to put their rents mandatory in the registry so people can compare and see what's going on. Rents have gone really high up in Fredericton, all over New Brunswick. So it's really important that we're taking care of the most vulnerable in society, which is not just seniors but single parent families as well as people with disabilities and low to moderate income families. Yeah, because right now what's happening, ACORN recently took part in a report, and they found that the property developers coming in, they're quite predatory. So what's happening is they're putting up the rents to extremely high amounts, and this means that people just can't afford to pay these rents, or they can't afford a reasonable place to live. So it's having a very big impact on tenants in general. So we need to make it a balance, and we need to have a more permanent rent cap in place in New Brunswick. Just like there is in other provinces, we're asking for the same. And we're just fighting for rights for these people. In New Brunswick in particular, the biggest issue right now is housing, so that's why we are focusing primarily on housing. So we really want Higgs to do more, and he can do more, given that he gave the landlords 3 years 50% tax cut on their properties and only 1 year temporary rent cap for tenants. It's just not good enough. And you know, inflation is rising. People are worrying about food prices, gas prices, rents as well. So in the winter, some of them are going to be having the choice of rent, groceries, and nobody should be living like that.
It like wants or encourages landlords to have to just have a full court press of rent increases, which, as we're seeing consistently, this housing is getting less and less accessible and affordable to New Brunswickers, and we expect that to continue unless or until actual lasting rent control or even better vacancy control is implemented.
In response to queries from the NB Media Co-op, a government spokesperson provided an emailed statement. She said the province continues to monitor the housing situation in New Brunswick as part of a government-wide approach to addressing affordable housing and will introduce additional measures if necessary. She also said tenants will continue to be protected by measures introduced last December. Those include limiting rent increases to once per 12-month period and extending the rent increase notice period from 3 to 6 months. The changes also gave authority to the Residential Tenancies Tribunal (RTT) to review and deny unreasonable rent increases, the spokesperson added. She advised tenants with questions to contact at 1-888-762-8600.